This one's for everyone who commented on my recent Flat Earth video telling me that I need to go back and have another physics lesson and another science lesson. Flat Earthers, we did learn physics, we did learn the same stuff that you learn in all your science lessons, and we did mostly believe it, when we were taught it. We did actually believe all that stuff like everyone else does, like you have as well. The difference is, over time, we've kind of learned that the things that the government tell us isn't always true. The government doesn't really have our best interests at heart. We've learned, particularly over the past few years, that you can't always trust the science. And just to look at NASA in general, who get billions of our taxpayers' dollars every year, but yet they still haven't been back to the moon. They still don't have the technology to go back to the moon. And they claim that this is how we got to the moon, and that President Nixon made a landline phone call to the moon. And yet, trust the science. Trust everything NASA tells us. This is the thing, we all did have the same physics lessons. We all did believe it at one point. And then what happened is, we started to learn to think for ourselves, and we started to see different things that kind of discredit and disprove the stuff that they've been teaching us, things like my last video that disproves that maybe we really are on a spinning ball flying through space. And the thing is, no one starts as a flat earther. Everyone has had those physics lessons. Everyone believed it all too in those lessons. And this is the word lesson. Lesson means to lessen, as in lessen your intellect. The schools are indoctrination camps. They really are. So you may as well just pretty much say to yourself, right, everything I've learned at school, let's just kind of discount it for now and start to go back to basically trusting yourself and your intuition and your own instincts. What do your instincts tell you? What can you physically experience? Forget what a scientist from across the world claims is true. Use your own intelligence. Start to think for yourself, because this is the thing about school, and this is the thing about what most people have said. Oh, go back to school, learn physics, learn science. Listen, learn to think for yourself. Do you feel the earth moving? Does it feel like it is moving to you? Do you sense it moving? What sense does it make that you can see the inner planets in the night sky at night time, when that's when the earth's meant to be facing away from the inner planets, if the earth really was round and it's moving round and stuff? The truth is, our ancestors knew a lot more, and they're pretty much right about most stuff. If you look at modern medicine as an example, our ancestors knew how to heal ourselves with natural herbs, with natural remedies, which are a lot more effective and have a lot less harmful side effects than a lot of modern medicine. So go back to nature, go back to what your ancestors used to be like. They were a lot more intelligent and wise than we thought, and most of the ancient cultures knew about the flat earth or believed about the flat earth. And the truth is, no one's proved whether it's round, no one's proved whether it's flat. There's no proof for either, okay? So even if we just all agree, right, no one can actually prove anything, that's where you need to come to. The fact that you would argue that it absolutely is round and gravity is real, even though they have admitted it is just a theory, it's not actually been proven. There's something called density and buoyancy, which means that if something's got a lighter mass, it floats upwards. If something's got a heavier mass, it floats downwards. It doesn't mean that there's an invisible force pulling everything down to the earth, okay? So there's always another explanation for things, regardless of whether it's flat, round, whatever, yeah? Ask yourself why you're so emotionally attached to it being one way or the other. Ask yourself why you would get so angry and fight and argue something that you've not even experienced yourself, that you can't even prove to be true, that no one can prove to be true, but just because Neil deGrasse Tyson, or you've read it in some physics book and some physics teacher has said it, suddenly you just believe it with all your heart, and you're so angry that people would think otherwise, and you think they're stupid because you believe in the bullshit, you believe the lies, you believe in the indoctrination that you've been taught. Here's the thing. Learn to think for yourself, use your own intuition, use your own wisdom. And even if even if it's not flat, even if we can't prove what it is, the fact that people get so mad about it just shows that there's some kind of spell making them mad about it. Because why would you be so emotionally attached to it being one way that you would really fight and argue for it when you just don't even know it yourself? You've never experienced it yourself. It's just what you've been told to believe. And it's like, does it question your intelligence or something? Is that why? Does it make you feel stupid if you're wrong? Because it's okay to be wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right with the earth being flat, but what I'm saying is the more that people look into flat earth, because no one starts as a flat earther, they start to look into it and then they go, oh, hang on, I don't know if it's actually flat or not, but it's definitely not what they've been telling us, because the stuff that they've been telling us, there's holes in all of their theories and arguments and stuff. And of course, we know now we can't trust what they tell us. We can't trust what the government says. Most of history is a lie. Most of science, what they've been telling us, is a lie. Most of health that they've been telling us is a lie. So it's like, you really just, even if we just can't decide what it is, stop blindly believing what someone else has told you.